Education is changing, as we all know, very rapidly. And we see new tools, approaches, pedagogy that are emerging that leverage some of this really great technology that we have available. Well, we need new methods of professional development in order to take advantage and to help educators and administrators understand how to use some of these new tools. And thus, Leading Edge was born. It was born out of a need for a way for educators to understand and demonstrate their understanding, for the new technology and the changes that are going on with teaching and student learning. So several agencies got together and we realized that we needed to find a solution to meet this need. It would need to be flexible enough, okay? It would need to be able to be delivered online, in a blended environment, face-to-face, and it would have to be something that was constantly updated and what I call lightweight, something that a teacher or administrator could do during the summer or at night during the school year. It would also need, very importantly, to be in line to research-based standards and frameworks. And this was one of the things that we all tried to be very cognizant of in the development of the certifications. As we took a look around, there were lots of other recognitions in place. The PD models that were out there, you've got the SMART exemplary educators, Google certified, the Apple distinguished educators, all of these things were out there. However, there was one thing that we all were made very aware of, and that was that these certifications or these recognitions existed to promote specific products or services. We did not want to do that with Leading Edge certification. We wanted LEC to be vendor neutral, and we have worked very hard to keep it that way. So in 2010, we gathered an alliance of nonprofits, universities, educational agencies to form Leading Edge Alliance. And all of these members, as you can see on the team, had great and complete understanding of the field of education, technology, and technology leadership. So this group of educators and entities gathered together and talked about and developed the LEC certifications. We started in 2010, and to date, we have over 2,000 certifications and counting. So the first certification that we started with was the online and blended teacher, then the administrator, because we figured the administrators needed to understand how they could support helping teachers to move to the online and blended realm. After we got the administrators on board, then it was helping educators understand, because there's still a gap that we found with the educators understanding how to take what they know and how to use technology and then moving it into the online environment. How do we help teachers understand how to use technology integral into the curriculum and then take that and move it online? So we have the digital educator trying to understand the integration of technology, not using it as a peripheral, but truly integrated into how they do their instruction with the students. And then finally, the professional learning leader. How do we help them to understand ways in which they can use technology in any curricular area, not just for technology's sake? So those are mainly the 4 certifications that we have right now. So what I'd like to do is to kind of go in depth a little bit on each of them so that you have a base of understanding, and then move, and you'll see some similarities between the certifications. So again, the online and blended curriculum, this was the very first certification, and this provides teachers with both the pedagogy and the practical experience of developing curriculum and lessons that address the online and blended learning environments. Teachers learn about ADA requirements in the online and blended spaces. They learn how to develop and create accessible materials. They create the syllabi for the courses, assessments for students, and they become well versed in both the research and the current trends in online and blended teaching best practices. There are 8 modules in all of the certifications, just how it happened. This was not a structure that we intended, but it's just how things ended up rolling out. And the courses are approximately 8 weeks in length. Now, several of the providers have, some will stretch it out a little bit to 10 weeks, 12 weeks. It just all depends, because the curriculum is very flexible, and it is tool agnostic. So you can take any of this curriculum. It is available to you today, and you can take that curriculum, you can pour it into your learning management system, and it doesn't matter the tools that are used within the curriculum. We try to make every activity flexible to where teachers can use whatever tool. They can either use a tool that they're comfortable with, or they can stretch themselves and learn a new tool. So in the online and blended, we work with we of course provide them an introduction, an overview to the course. We explain online learning, what it is about, the pedagogy of online, and this is where the focus is. We do not focus on learning an LMS in this certification. We focus on the pedagogy of how should teachers teach, and how should students learn. How do they build community? How do you increase the communication and gather the students within so that it becomes an active course? Online accessibility. What do you do for students, and how do you keep all students engaged who may have hearing difficulties or visual difficulties? How do we help make the curriculum accessible to them? What does online assessment look like? And how do you evaluate whether the students are gaining the skill sets that they need to be gaining? Looking at your districts, what are the policies and what are the preparations that need to go into place in order to ensure a successful online course or a successful blended course? So this one here shows what one of the activities are in the online and blended course. The assignment is to reflect on your strengths and weaknesses in the 4 areas of online instruction. And they have to think about, what does it mean to be an online instructor? And then for their areas of weakness, how are they going to strengthen those areas? So this responses from a teacher who is currently taking the course and also teaching online herself. And the variety of Web 2 tools that we have our participants use, we try to, again, allow teachers the flexibility with which they can use any kind of tool. So this one here is one that was done with a Prezi. Now, although I know that the administrator was the next certification that was developed, I wanted to go ahead and move it to the digital educator, and I will take the administrator and put that towards the end. So the digital educator curriculum offers classroom teachers an opportunity to fully immerse themselves in a global classroom. Because that is where basically we live through innovative activities using the platform agnostic and free applications. So this certification, again, is applicable to all teachers, regardless of their access to technology. The centerpiece of this certification includes the creation in several of the modules of lesson plans linked to various concepts like digital citizenship and literacy, powerful communication and collaboration tools. The teachers then create these lesson plans, they implement the lesson, and then they show student work as artifacts of their learning. So it gives them the opportunity to try their new skill sets, evaluate whether or not they need to readjust what they are doing with the students, and then perhaps try it again with their next class. And here is an example of one of the modules that we developed, which was the digital citizenship, digital literacy and citizenship. And this one here is they were to create a presentation on responsible online use for any school audience. So for parents, for the administrators, for the students. And here is the feedback from one of the students. And this teacher is a math and French classroom teacher. It's very important for us to ensure that teachers understand how to use and encourage digital literacy and digital citizenship just as a way that they teach. So how do you help your students understand what cyberbullying is all about? How do you help their parents understand so that they can then reinforce your instruction with the students? This one here, this certification, is the Professional Learning Leader. And this one is the most recent one that we are just now rolling out. And the Professional Learning Leader offers those in leadership positions who train others the tools and strategies to more fully help their peers understand how to train, how to work with and encourage adults in any curricular field. So this certification focuses on leaders and helps them understand how to use the technology in the different learning environments, how to change, literally reconfigure your learning environment to facilitate increased learning, and how to model digital literacy and digital citizenship in all that they do. So again, 8 modules. It takes about 8 weeks to do. And I think you're probably seeing kind of a similarity. There's an introduction. We have the core modules, and you will usually see that digital literacy, digital citizenship in there. And then, if you have noticed, the ending is a portfolio assignment. So all educators, these examples that I'm sharing with you are all from different educators' portfolios. So in the Professional Learning Leader, One of their things is to determine their mission and values and goals, what they are, and then design an implementation plan for putting these elements into action. And this one here was, this response was done by a director of instructional technology. And it's amazing the changes that we see as trainers of this curriculum, what happens with the participants. Once they understand how to use these tools and how to use them in such a way that the focus being on the message or on the curriculum, it's amazing the changes that tend to happen in the way that they work with their peers. And this is part of our core message that we want to get out. It's not about the tool. It's about the pedagogy. It's about doing it right. It's about presenting information in an engaging way that makes students, even though our students are teachers, it makes them think, it makes them troubleshoot, it makes them figure out what are ways that they can change the way that they are working with their peers or their students to better engage them. The final, and the one where I want to spend the most time, is the leading edge certification for the administrator. And this one here is focused on site and district leadership. School leaders need to prepare students for college and for the 21st century and be the model educators for their teachers and their staff. So in order to do this, it includes creating a vision for that digital age learning. And you've seen this in some of the others. You'll see, we've got to develop that vision. Once we have that vision and we help people understand how do you implement a vision, how do you get that buy-in from your staff, then how do you identify innovative solutions? You increase the productivity. All of these things are what happens within the administrator certification. If you've created a vision, let's say, for digital age learning, how do you then support programs such as mobile devices in the classroom? How do you purchase? How do you engage stakeholders in authentic learning environments, as well as modeling the communication and the data collection that goes with this? We all know as educators and administrators, we want to have a informed. We want to have our staff informed as to what they are doing in the classroom. Is it working or is it not working? What is the data that we need in order to determine that? And how do we help our teachers understand how to disaggregate that data and work with it? How does data inform teaching practices? That is one of our thrusts in the administrator certification. And how do we help our teachers, as well as model it ourselves, to be flexible? The technology is ever changing. And what we need is we need to help our educational leaders to understand and to be flexible in order to remain on the leading edge and be able to assist in their staff as well as their student success. So here are a few of the activities that we have our administrators go through in the administrator certification. And so this one here is, in order to have a vision, it would be good to know where do you want your students to go. So we try to forecast out, and this isn't forecasting out that far. So we asked our administrators, what will your school look like in 2020? And develop that plan. backward map it. How do you make things come to fruition? And we've had the assistant superintendent, and for this one here, and he said basically it was totally relevant, and that's our paycheck. Our paycheck is making sure that the curriculum that we put out is relevant to administrators' daily jobs. We do not want to add things to administrators. We know what their schedules are like. We are all in that, trying to multitask, trying to do many things at one time. So it is extremely important that our curriculum remain current. And being on the Administrator Curriculum Committee, we are constantly updating the curriculum. We have done this certification, my guess is over 80 times, maybe even over 100 times, and we continue to tweak, to change based on the feedback that we receive from our participants. Here is another module within the Administrator Certification, and that is, once you have your vision, then develop a plan for moving your school or district forward in the use of educational technology. And again, this one was done through an assistant principal, and they're saying this was amazing. They feel that the activities that they have gone through within the curriculum has really helped them, and they feel has boosted their confidence in understanding how to use and when to appropriately use the technology to help their staff. Here is another one. One of the modules that we have and an assignment in their portfolio is to communicate their data through infographics. So many times our teachers are looking at numbers, and sometimes what we have found is that if you can take these numbers and disaggregate those numbers and turn them into a visually non-threatening graphic, that teachers can gain a better understanding of the message being sent and the changes that they can do. Now, does that mean you have to be an expert in how to create infographics? No, we walk you through it. We walk you through every step of the way. And in fact, in all of our leading edge certifications, these are competency-based. So there is no failing. We will work with you. We will help you down every step of the path that you take in order to help you to be more successful. So within every module, there is a portfolio that you create. Your portfolio then is reviewed by people who are leading edge certified. We call them lead learners in that certification. So for the administrator, you will most likely take a look at one of your peers' portfolios, as we have found that, again, in reviewing somebody else's portfolio, that is also helping you to learn how to better your skill set. And then we have 2 leading edge certified lead learners review your portfolio. If there are changes that need to be made, then we help you to make the changes. We don't just say, oh, this one doesn't pass. We let you know, hey, this, you might want to think about going a little deeper in this area to better answer this question. And we help you along the process. If you have questions along the way, our facilitators are awesome, and they're available to you to help you through this path that you are on. So, speaking of paths, How do you find where the certifications are being hosted, where they are being trained? How do you register for your training? Everything here can be done through leadingedgecertification.org. Again, this has all of the curriculum. You can take a look at the curriculum. You do not have to register for the class in order to actually see the curriculum. The key thing that you get through the certification coursework is the sense of community, the guidance, the exchange, the synergy that comes with a well-developed online course. So most of these all of these certifications, as I said in the beginning, are created so that they can be offered, whether it be online, whether it be in a blended environment to where there's some face-to-face meetings as well as online work, or face-to-face. We've done it in all different ways. So we, the trainers of Leading Edge, are here to meet your needs. So to find training, to find where it's offered, leadingedgecertification.org. Contra Costa County Office of Education is an Alliance member and partner in all 4 certifications. So we can train in the online and blended teacher, in the digital educator, in the professional learning leader, as well as in the administrator. And we are here to help you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, or you can also contact Danielle Force, who is the Leading Edge Certification Program Coordinator. So what happens after your training is that you will receive a Leading Edge badge and a certificate that is good for 5 years. So in any of the modules that or any of the certifications rather, the commonalities is that there's always an introduction, there's usually a thread of digital citizenship that goes through the modules. There is a portfolio that will need to be created, and then a 5-year certification. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email either myself or Danielle Forst at leadingedgecertification.org. And with that, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the question block, as I am more than happy to answer your questions. Are there any questions out there? This is usually the area, you know, where you hear the little music playing in the background. If there are no questions, please feel free, take a look at leadingedge.org, and again, we are here to help you, to help your teachers understand how to move in their face-to-face environment, how to better utilize technology, how to understand how to train and work with adults, and how to help improve communication and collaboration between yourselves, your staff, and your school community. So if there are no questions, I would like to say thank you very much for taking time out of your extremely busy schedules, and we are here to serve you. And with that, I will close out our presentation, and I look forward to hearing from you in the near future. Again, this is Eileen Walters, Instructional Technology Specialist for Contra Costa County Office of Education. Thank you very much.